Good afternoon, America. Good evening from Germany. Here's Pascal again. Second time. Yes, I know I didn't announce it this morning, but yeah, we have some major news today. As you have maybe seen already in the news, the attack of a Polish city near the border of Ukraine, and we had some major movements at the stock market. So yeah, this morning everything was green, and then we had the reversal, and so now we have the time to look at this in Power Hour and to answer some of your questions. I think there will be several. Just ask them in the live chat here, or if you rewatch it and watch the recording, you can also rewatch the recording of this morning and from yesterday morning. The opening bells, everything is free and can be rewatched. So just click on the streams and you can still take some infos out of the past streams. Okay, let's have a look at the charts and then we can talk about it. Just bring up my charts here. Just a second. Here. So. And now we have no delay because I changed here the latency to low latency. So I hope it will be set for next time. When we have major news again, then there won't be a latency of 15 or 20 seconds. So now you should see my price in real time here, maybe 1 or 2 second latency, but not more. So yeah, we can watch all together. I have still the Fibonacci levels here in place from this morning, from the movement here of the PPI publishment. And yeah, we went back. I was going offline right before we had the break here. Then we were at a 50% Fibonacci level. This was where I took off my first micro Nasdaq future. I told you I shorted 2 micro Nasdaq futures right here. You have seen it. It was live at 12,100 level. The first future, the second future at 12,090 points. And I closed the first here at 12,025. So this was 75 points green trade. So this was $150 in the first trade, and the second one I closed here. We talked about this. This was a Fibonacci level, 76% Fibonacci level, and we made it right through. And there was the VWAP. You see, the VWAP level was almost the same at this time. I closed the second future, and this was 11,975. So therefore I made another 110 points. So this was $220. So 2 green trades, 2 nice trades. Then we just went up again. Were more trading sideways, as you can see here, and right at 7:10. So my time, 7:10 p.m. It is 12:10 p.m. in Eastern time, and then we had the breakthrough. You can see here this huge green, this huge red candle down to the green line, and then we had a 100% reversal at this moment, and we even break through. We had more sell-off here, more selling pressure, and we made lows at 11,764. So as you can see, it was not pre-market low. We still had lower lows here, but almost the same level. Yeah, almost the same level. It was in the night in the Asian session, 11,761 was the low, and the low here was 11,764. So only 3 points different. And you see how important these levels are. We didn't talk about this low level because I didn't expect the price to go there, but that's why I'm always telling you, don't expect the market to do anything, just trade direction. And this was what we did. Of course, it was risky to enter a trade here short after a first 5 minutes red candle, because there was no confirmation that it will turn red. But you have seen that if you enter early and if you take a stop loss here near your current level, then you can have nice risk reward levels and ratios like I have had here. I entered here and here with my 2 trades, my 2 contracts, and I played it well because I took my profits out early enough, so I didn't have to wait for all this sideways trading here. You could have entered again here because I was with my family. I wasn't at my desk and haven't seen it, but you could have traded this, the breakthrough here through these lows. We had already touched them twice, and the third attempt we went below, and you see this huge selling pressure, and the volume, you see the rising volume here. So yeah, you could have traded this without knowing about the news in Poland, and could just have traded to the level, because you would have a clear target if you would have drawn a line here. We didn't do this pre-market because yeah, there was the up move, but if you are prepared well, because if there was the 100% reversal, then you would have looked for the next level. The next level would be maybe here, so a pre-market low, a support level here, but especially the lowest point of the pre-market. This was during a recent session, and we barely reached it. So yes, and there was the turning point, and we moved back to 9 EMA, and we had the rejection, the first rejection here, almost at the lows again, and then second attempt we moved above. Then next level was a 20 EMA. You see there was a rejection here. The blue line is the 20 EMA line, was a rejection, and then on the second attempt we went above. And you see again this green line here, this was the beginning of the PPI news. It was now a resistance level. So we went back. We are trying again to push above it. So now there's the purple line. This is intraday VWAP. So this acts now as a resistance. But when we manage to go above this level, above VWAP, it can turn green again. And we still have 33 minutes left for this trading day, and everything can happen. So it's more bullish than it was here, because we are above the moving averages, above the 9 and the 20 EMA, but it's still not as bullish as it could be, because we are below intraday VWAP. So you see it is caught right in between these moving averages and intraday VWAP. So we have to wait for the breakouts to the up or downside, and this will happen in the next probably 10 or 15 minutes, and then we will see further volume coming in and more movement. Yeah, let's see what happens. So this was interesting to see, because it's not so often that you see two larger reversals on one trading day. So here the first reversal to the downside again, and here on the downside the reversal to the upside again. And you see here was not a large time of trading sideways. So normally we have, this was phase 1, just a normal phase here trading down, and then trading sideways. This was about 30 minutes trading sideways with huge movement here. And then this is phase 3, confirmation phase. When we broke here above the 9 EMA, then there's confirmation we broke above the last highs here. So this is why there was a lot of stop loss triggering here around this level, and yeah, further buyers coming in. So this is phase 3 clearly, and yeah, it was interesting to see and interesting to trade today these levels. I only traded once here. I'm still waiting for lower levels to enter my long trade. Even if we already reached the 12,000 level, we talked this morning about the higher levels you could reach. So yeah, don't let you disturb with all these lines. But here you see the white lines, which could be interesting. 12,250 and 13,000 level could be interesting for you if you want to stick on a long trade for a medium holding time for some days or weeks, if you want to take on a swing trade. Yeah, but what we also see is, I will just delete all these lines here. What we also see is now we have a huge wick on the upside. And this is what we were talking about this morning, because I said we will see this evening if the 12,000 level will hold. And we are now trading right below. So this will act as a resistance. We talked about this. Yeah? We managed to go above, but we soon broke below again. And now it will act as a resistance for the day, for the closing of the day. So maybe we will right close at the 12,000 level. Maybe we will see further sell-off. We have now supports here right below. You see 20 and 9 EMA are at about 11,375 and 11,500 levels. So there is some more room for pullbacks, and this is what I just want to wait for, to enter a long trade again, because it's still bullish, but I don't want to trade it short, but I want to wait for lower levels to trade long again, to have more margin of profit to the upside. And therefore I would draw a new Fibonacci level from the highest point here to the outbreak here from last week. So you could use this Fibonacci just to see where's the 50% Fibonacci level. I like the 50 because in about 50 to 70% of the time we see a pullback of 50% of the previous movement. And you see the 50% line would be at about this 9 EMA level. So the purple line here, zoom in a little bit, it's at about 11,500. So this could be an interesting level for a pullback for this week maybe, to enter a long trade again. This doesn't mean we cannot go lower within a day, but we should close above it again, above this 20 or 9 EMA. So you could split up with 2 trades, and you could enter first long tranche here and the second one here at 11,375. So you would have your full trade, your full trade here with a medium price in between here, and this could be interesting because then you would have entered at 11,400, 11,450 maybe, and you have to the upside a huge potential of about 600 points or more if you aim for more. So this is interesting. This is what I'm waiting for. I wouldn't trade to the downside because it can be that my levels aren't reached because the market is really strong, as we have seen this morning. We should not expect the market to draw back in one day, but it can be, and this is what I'm waiting for, because I still think when we go back here to these levels we will see further pushes to the upside. So okay, now time for your questions. I will just bring up one last thing here before I have time for your questions, because we missed to talk about the interest expectation, the shift of interest expectation this morning, because we talked about the shift here. It was 80% and 20%, and then I said maybe it will move up to 85-90%, and this is what we saw right after PPI data. This number here was at 85%, and now it moved back to 80% with a drop of the market. So it's funny to see that it can move within a day. Let's see if something changed. Yeah, nothing changed here. So you see it was the same number yesterday, it's still the same number today. But if you have watched this number right after PPI data came out, then you would have seen that we were at 85% expectation. So this means 5 percentage points more for only 50 basis points higher interest rate and not 75 basis points. So it's still 80%, so it's still a huge majority for 50 basis points, but it can still change. So if the market will come to the clue that we will have a lower expectation for inflation, then we will probably also see higher expectation for lower interest rate hikes. So there's still a lot amount of time, 28 days and 21 hours until the next Federal Reserve meeting, but it's just interesting to see how the expectations move with every economic data coming out. Okay, this was what I wanted to show you. Now let's bring up again our chart here, and the VWAP acted as resistance level. So we had higher highs, we had higher lows, and now we are pulling back. So if we pull back below the last lows here, this one and this one, then we will probably see further selling pressure here. VWAP is sometimes a really strong resistance. You could see here it acted as a stronger support here 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So we were below, but we managed to go above again. And yeah, as soon as we broke below here with these huge red candle and below all moving averages, then you see the sell-off. And what you also can see is, again, to the parabolic SAR, you see here it shifted here to a downtrend. Yeah, we talked about this because it happened right when we closed the live session this morning. So this was an early sign that we were on a downtrend here. You saw that it went to the uptrend again, but late here when we were hit at the upside here from the sideways trading range. So it indicated a long trend. Yeah, but it wasn't a long trend, and this is the problem here, because SAR, parabolic SAR, is really early indicator. So you would have taken on, if you would just take on parabolic SAR into account, you would have taken on a long trend here, and you would you would have bought in this position here, and it would be bad because you would have bought in at the highest point here of this sideways trading range. It would be stupid, and therefore I say don't look only at parabolic SAR, always use it in combination with other indicators. Like here, you can see ADX, average directional movement index. You see that there was no crossing here. So it didn't cross to a to a long trend, and therefore I wouldn't trade it. Yeah, it's still a long trend, a small long trend here all the whole time, but you can see the weakening of the trend. So the red line is going down and not up, and therefore you see it's not a strong trend, and probably we will see after a huge push we will see a sideways trading phase. Yeah, we know this because these are the 3 stages of a reversal, and therefore I wouldn't take on here a long trade at this position here. Yeah, here you can clearly see the change. So now we had a short trend here, and then again parabolic SAR went down to a short trend. So you had an early indication of a possible short trend here, but still the price went up. We didn't manage to close above. You see, we just closed here. That's why you can compare these parabolic SAR with Bollinger Bands. But we closed right below, and therefore it was still a bearish trend. And if you would have entered early, yeah, when there was a crossing of a short trend here, so there were 2 confirmations, the crossing here and the parabolic SAR, and so you could be prepared for a short reversal. And as soon as we break below, then I would have entered the trade here, yeah, right at this point when there was a red candle in the breaking of the last lows. This would be interesting to enter the trade here, not through this sideways trading range, but you can see that the market was weak. There was no buying pressure here, no buying power. Bulls were weak, and therefore it was interesting to enter the trade right here. Yeah. So, and you see, where did we change the direction? We changed direction right here when the parabolic SAR moved to the downside, because here we had the break with this candle. We closed above the parabolic SAR dot here. Therefore it changed to the downside and it indicated an uptrend again. And we closed above the 9 EMA. So you have now 2 indicators, closing above 9 EMA, closing above parabolic SAR, and the trend here is still indicating short. Of course, it's not crossing yet, but you can still see it's a strong trend here. It's still a strong trend. So you can take on an early long position here, or minimum close your short position, because you should be out here because we had higher highs. Yeah, this was a higher high here, and you should be out here with your short position at the latest, because we had the lows at the same level. So this was a double bottom here, and therefore you should be at the latest out here with a stop loss right above the last high. Yeah, so you could still have made money here if you entered here, and if you closed out here, you would still have made, this is Nasdaq future, so you would have made 0.75%. So it's still interesting to make this trade, because you always have some leverage with a margin. This was also one topic I wanted to talk about with you, because somebody asked me about the leverage of a Nasdaq future, and I would just bring this up for you to show you leverage. So here's a description, and here you can see what margins you need to trade 1 micro E-mini Nasdaq future. So this is the smaller one with contract size multiplicator. You see here multiplicator of 2. So this means you are buying 2 times the Nasdaq index, and the Nasdaq index is about at, yeah, let's say 12,000 points. 12,000 points means $12,000. So times 2 is 24,000. So you are moving a volume of $24,000, and you only need here initial margin of $3,100. So you see the leverage here. For opening the position, you only need $3,100, and for maintaining the position, so maintenance margin is $2,850. So let's say 3,000. It's easier to calculate with 3,000. So you only need $3,000 for a contract volume of $24,000. So you see the leverage you have here. So the margin is only a small part of the whole position, and therefore you have leverage here, even higher leverage than you have on TQQQ or SQQQ, because there's more than 3 times leverage, yeah, of course. So you can have a leverage between 10 or 12 here. Depends on, the margin can change here depending on your account size, how big your account is. This one here is a smaller account. If I trade it on larger accounts, then the margins are possibly lower. But you can have leverages from 8 to about 12. So this is sometimes even more interesting. But you shouldn't now not trade with your whole account, only one contract, when you have just barely $3,000 in your account, because this would be considered to be risky. But you can trade small on a large account. So I'm trading here with a big 6-figure or even 7-figure on the other account. So it's not a problem to take on 2 micro Nasdaq futures, because this would mean only about $6,000 of margin, and this would be a contract volume of $48,000. So this would be considered a small trade in my large account, and therefore the risk is not really big. Yeah. So this is one thing, and the other thing was about the cost of the transactions. So what does the buying or selling of one future cost? And you can see it here. So here are the cost of one transaction, and it's 75 US cents per contract of micro Nasdaq. So it's really cheap. I know all webull traders say, yeah, but I trade for nothing, it's a zero commission. Yeah, of course, but then your trades will be sold to algo traders, and then they will enter the position before you, and you will have worse, not the best prices, you will have worse prices. And therefore I'm trading at Interactive Brokers here with a really cheap commission of 57 cents. And yeah, it's really cheap here. Okay, that's was now everything I wanted to tell you. So now let's look at the chart and see your questions here in live chat. Okay, everyone is happy that I'm streaming again. Yeah, the first time in the evening now. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, evening for me, afternoon for you. Yeah, do you have a nice day in the green? Yeah, my day is nice and green. Yeah. Okay, Shake had a big red day. Oh no, why? Didn't you manage your loss early enough? Always manage your losers. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Not the winners are important, but the management of the losers is the most important thing in trading. Why do you think the market is recovering so quickly? Yeah, because we had a huge sell-off, and because yeah, this is political news. And political news, we say, we have a wording in Germany. We say politische Börsen haben kurze Beine. So political movements have short legs. But yeah, you cannot explain every movement just with news. But when there's a panic, then at some point there will be dip buyers coming in, stepping in, and saying, yeah, but your fear is nonsense. Yeah, there's no risk of this. So there probably won't be a third world war just because of this missile attack on a Polish city, a small city. It was just a really small city, and yeah, there were 2 dead, of course, but probably there won't be a third world war because of this. We don't know yet if it was just an attack from the Russians. They wanted to attack a city on the Ukrainian border, so there are 70 kilometers in between this Polish city and the Ukrainian city, so it could have been just random that they hit the Polish city. But maybe they want to test what NATO will do when they are attacking a Polish city and saying, oh no, we didn't want to attack it, so now let's see what the NATO is doing, and then they are forcing it, maybe. Yeah, this is the fear, the first fear that comes up when we have the down movements, but then the buyers step in back and say, yeah, but whatever the news are, we don't think this will affect the stock market too much, and we don't think that this will cause a third world war, and therefore buyers are stepping in. So this is the explanation I would give here, but sometimes there are just no explanations. It's just trading. It's just buyers and sellers coming together and finding a new balanced price. That's all. This is why I say don't trade news. There was someone this morning here writing in live chat, why are you shorting? The news were good. Yes, of course, but the good news were already priced in the first 5 minutes, you see, and I was trading the reversal here because maybe this movement was just too high for this good news, but not the major news. So yeah, you always see back and forth in the stock exchanges, and you can trade both directions. without taking into account that the news were good or bad. Don't care about the news. Don't care about the news. We don't care about them. Yeah, it doesn't matter if the news are good or bad. We trade direction. We don't expect anything from the market. We have our levels. We are prepared for everything, and then we can take on the trade if we have the probabilities on our side. This is the important thing. The probabilities should be on our side for our trade to have a good risk-reward ratio, yeah, to have better margins for our trading concept. Okay. Next questions. Althea, your day has been lovely. Yeah, great to hear. Mine also. The week is off to a green start again. Last week was also very positive. Stay profitable. Yeah, you can stay profitable even on a red week if you're trading short or trading SQQQ. For those of you who are trading the leverage ETFs, yeah, it doesn't matter if we are green or red with the Nasdaq futures. It just doesn't matter how you manage your losers. This is the most important thing, because you can flip a coin to enter a trade. The most important thing is always to manage the losers. The winners are easy because you can just stick to a winner and just let it run and set a stop loss and set your stop loss higher and higher and higher as long as the position is running in your direction. But when you have a loser, you have to decide where to cut losses for not backholding in your position, and this is the most difficult decision a trader can take, because he has to decide to let room for the position just to breath, but also not for letting it breath too much, for not backholding it and taking on too much loss. Yeah, so this is a difficult decision sometimes. So next, you took a short position at the first red candle around 12,100. How could you be sure that the direction would continue going down instead of making higher highs, higher lows? Yeah, I didn't know this. That's why I said it was a risky trade here at this point. It was risky. I didn't know that it would happen, that we would see a pullback. But when you have a stop loss right here at about 12,130 maybe, so I have 30 points of risk. But to the downside, you have seen where my levels were, where closed the first contract, it was 12,025. So I had 75 points of gain and only 25 points of risk. So this was a 1-to-3 risk-reward ratio. And this is interesting to enter such a trade, because we were overbought here at this point. You see still the RSI. It was strong overbought. Of course, it was a strong uptrend. No question. But this is why I wait for the 5-minute candle to close red, not a 1-minute candle. I'm not trading on a 1-minute chart. I waited for the 5-minute candle. So this means in 5 consecutive minutes, we were trading lower. Yeah, and this indicates some weakness. And this is what I want to see for a pullback. And this is what I traded. Small, with a small amount of money, only one contract. And as soon as I saw, okay, there will be more weakness, I wanted to enter a second contract. But the problem was I entered with a limit price and the limit wasn't hit anymore because there was already such a huge drop. But then you see here the wick on the upside. We came back. My limit was hit again. The high point here was 12,092.5 and I had my limit at 12,090. So my limit sell order was hit, and therefore I entered with a second contract here and I could ride it to the downside. But you have to be patient for this, of course. Of course, I could be wrong. Of course, it could hit the stop loss. But you have seen me, and you can rewatch the recording. So it was just one trade, and it was a small trade. But you have to be, you have to stick to your plan and just trade it. No one of us knows the future. We just have to guess sometimes what will happen and to trade direction. So this direction was showing maybe we will see a pullback. It was a risky trade, but I played it well. And yeah, sometimes you can just play these reversals. Yeah, sometimes it's risky. If we would have seen the next 5-minute candle in a green and with higher highs, then I would have taken a loss. Of course, this happens. The last reversal looked like a pullback to 200 MA on 15 minute. Yeah, let's look at 15 minute. You can also go on a higher time frame here. Just zoom in again. And I also have the 200 SMA. This is a yellow line. I can activate it. And you see, yeah, we also were below this 200 level, but we managed to close above the 200 SMA. So we managed to close above this Fibonacci level and above this 200 SMA level. But you see, sometimes when there's a lot of fear, we move far beyond these levels. So if you are a long trader here in this position and you want to be stopped out, then probably you would have placed your stop loss right here on a 15-minute chart, and you would have been stopped out, and then you would have seen the reversal. Yeah, this can happen also. Yeah, it would have been bad, but that's why I like to trade on a 5 and 15-minute chart and not on a 1-minute chart, because there it happens even more often. Yeah, these huge spills here to the up or downside just to trigger some stop losses here happens really often. Yeah, and here we can also clearly see that there are the major resistance here at the VWAP and at 20 EMA. So now we are trading clearly below. This is the break of the last low, so there can be more selling pressure. We now had imbalance candle in the last minute, so 10 minutes before the closing we have the imbalance candle. And yeah, now we see some major movements here. Let's see where we managed to close, but it will probably be below the 12,000 level for sure. And yeah, it was a really interesting trading day. You can also say it right that. And yeah, I like these days with some major movements, but also with this longer sideway trading where everyone freaks out. Hey, I want to see now a big move. I want to see a big move, and everyone is so desperate about having the breakout, and then suddenly it happens. Yeah, it's just yeah. Sometimes it's out of the blue, but not really out of the blue, because you could have been prepared with parabolic SAR, with ADX. You could have been prepared with the break of the last lows here, or the break, even the break above the last highs could have also been. Then you would have seen this. Yeah. Moscow denies, yeah, for sure, Ralph. Moscow will deny everything. They they don't want to say, yeah, of course it was us to attack Poland. So they don't want to say this. They will say it wasn't our fault. We only wanted to attack Ukraine, but it was dark. We didn't see the target. I don't know how they fired the. Yeah, it's not so funny to laugh about this, but yeah. Sometimes you have to laugh about these situations because you cannot do it in another way. Because we know that this war is completely stupid, yeah? And we know that the Russians will lose this war one or the other way. It just takes time for them to accept this, and they are still trying to figure out a way to get out of this conflict without losing their face. That's the thing, yeah. Yeah, let's see on a 5-minute. You will now see we could went now from an uptrend to a downtrend. So parabolic SAR can change to a downtrend if we close below this dot here. But yeah, it's a 5-minute chart, so it will close in 2 minutes, this 5-minute candle, and then we have the last 5 minutes. But this can indicate an early downtrend. And yeah, and future trading will still be accessible for 1 more hour after the market closes until 11 p.m. my time or 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then we will have 1 hour trading pause. Okay, next questions here. Everyone test MNQ or MES in your demo account before you trade with real money. Yes. And we talked about Tesla, and I took on a Tesla trade. I didn't talk about this, right? So let's see. Yeah, we talked about the important 200 level, and look here, the important 200 level was hit 3 times, 1 time, 3 times, even here barely, right before the market started, when we had the PPI news. Then here, 2nd time, 3rd time, 4th time, not really matched the 200 level, but you can also see, yeah, we were moving down lower highs, and we had this this neckline here, yeah, 197, and you see here the same pattern as on Nasdaq future. We had the break here and the huge sell-off. So I traded at the 200 level, or it was 199.50 maybe. I didn't want to take on a directional trade here, so I didn't short Tesla stock. I didn't want to day trade it. Therefore, I sold a 240 strike December expiry. I will show you on a day chart. A 240 strike is this here. 240 strike December expiry, so it's about 31 days until expiry. and I got $2 and what was it, 68 cents, $2.68 for this short call. It's an unsecured call, so I have no long position in the stock. It's just a short call. And yeah, when the stock is moving down, or when volatility is going down, or when there's seller decay because of the moving days, and then I will make money on this trade. So even if we stick for more than a week now at this 200 level, I will make money because of seller decay. So every day going over is good for my trade. And I'm already in the green with this trade with, let me look here, Tesla, 24.7%, crazy. Let me bring up this chart to show you. Let me bring up this chart here. You can see it. Yeah, here's, you see my gain. It's only 2 contracts, so it's not a huge trade for my account, but already $130 in the green. You see where I entered this trade here. We hit this 1 times, 2 times, 3 times. So I was a little bit early. I could have made a better price here. Yeah, I could have made maybe 280 or 290, but yeah, overall it was not a bad price. And you now see we are about at $2. So yeah, the difference from 268 to $2 is now my gain if I would close this position and buy back the options. But I would still want to wait and buy it back at 50 or 60 cents, so I would make 80% profit. Let's see how soon this will happen. Just wanted to show you because we talked about this morning, and this I also want to show you because yeah, I was big in the red this morning, and then you could see when the Nasdaq moved down, also Euro USD moved down. So a lot of money went back into safe haven US dollar, and we made new day lows. You see here we even made lower lows than in the night. So Euro US dollar was weaker than Nasdaq. We moved back now, but yeah, it's still weak. You still see we had lower lows, lower highs, and therefore I'm still in my position. It's just about break even now. You see here the red line where I entered the position yesterday, so I will still hold it. It's a swing trade, so I'm not worried about this, even if the yeah, gain or loss is higher than on my Tesla option trade. Okay, back to the market, last 3 minutes here, and you now see parabolic SAR moved right here at the Fibonacci level, the last highs, not Fibonacci, intraday VWAP level, the last highs here. So now indicating establishment here of a short trend. Let's see if the market will pull down. We have only 2 minutes left, so probably there will nothing will happen here, but maybe we will see during Asian session that the markets can pull back a little bit further. Depends on the outcome of the news in Poland. And yeah, so let's see if we can reach within the next days these levels I want to target here, right below the 11,500. And if we don't, I don't care, because I can still take on new trades to both sides, long or short. I will take on smaller trades like today, only 1-2 contracts, maybe 3-4 contracts. But I want to be in a bigger long position here when we hit this 50% Fibonacci level. So let's see what happens here. And I will still be here for answering some of your live stream questions. Okay. We are really grateful for the value you are providing. Thank you. Yeah, I hope I can provide some value for you and you can learn something here from my trading style. I'm sharing it here for free for you because I have fun. As you can see, yeah, I love to share my knowledge, and because yeah, there's nothing bad in sharing my knowledge. I won't make less gains just because I share my knowledge. Just the opposite is the case, because if you trade the same way like I do, then we will have a bigger and a better movement here, and it will go faster. So I don't expect to move the market with my small positions. But even if we trade together, though, this won't affect the market big. But yeah, I won't care if you trade the same direction than I do, because I won't make less money with trading you the same way like I do. Okay, here are my other micro contracts. Yeah, you can also see I can show you the large ones. So the large ones, the NQ future is just 10 times bigger. Let's see this here and bring it up. So the price is always the same for the larger NQ future. So you can look at MNQ or NQ, the price will always be the same. But of course, the the margins are 10 times higher because the multiplier is 10 times bigger. Not 2, it's 20. So 10 times more than the micro Nasdaq, the E-mini future. And therefore you will have 10 times more margin. You see, initial margin is at 31,000 US dollar, and minimum margin is at 28,000 here. Maintenance margin is at 28,500. So if you have a larger account, you don't have to trade 10 micro Nasdaq, 10 MNQ. You can also trade one NQ future. Then you will have the same multiplier, 20, and you will probably have less cost for trading for one contract here. This contract won't be at 57 cents, but it's, I think, $1.50, $1.60, so it's also cheap. Yeah, and cheaper than trading 10 MNQ futures. Okay, market closed right at 11,900 here. This was the closing, 11,906. The trading day is over, Tuesday. Yeah, it was an interesting and funny day to see, with two reversals on the upside and on the downside, and again here at intraday VWAP. So I had a lot of fun. I made some money. I hope you too made some money. Just look through your questions. If you have some more, I will answer them, and then we will see when I will be live the next time. What is the indicator you are using below your chart? Yeah, this is just volume. So I see how many contracts are traded here, volume. This is the ADX, Average Directional Index, and this is the Stochastic RSI, so Relative Strength Index. And yeah, you can find them in almost every trading platform. Is Apple a buy? Is Apple a buy? Don't know. Let's look at Apple. Yeah, Apple is most of the time moving like Nasdaq because Apple is such a big player here with a huge weight in Nasdaq, so therefore you can sometimes just watch the Nasdaq chart and it's almost the same like the Apple chart, you can see. So I'm bullish for Nasdaq, so why shouldn't I be bullish for Apple? It's the biggest player in Nasdaq with about what was the weight of Apple again? Let's see. Let's see here, slick charts. And you see 13.3% index weight. Wow, that's really huge. And yeah, therefore you can just sometimes look at the Nasdaq chart and you will have the Apple chart. Yeah, I'm still bullish. We still have the Fibonacci levels here. We can redraw them if you want. So from the last high point to the last low point here. And we see the next support level is here at the closing of yesterday. We shouldn't close below this. The next resistance was here, 152, and then next level 157 to the upside. So if you want to enter a long trade, you could wait for a smaller reversal here to the 50% Fibonacci like I do a Nasdaq. Maybe it isn't hit, then you can take on a long trade if you have more confirmation. So if we are going above 152, so these were the last highs here, then you could go on a long trade to the previous highs of this, and this would also be a margin of about 3%, not bad. If you leverage it with a margin account, you can have a nice profit here. But it's not the best risk reward ratio if you take on the trade now. I would take it on if you move above here and then set a stop loss really near at about 151 or something like this. So you would have a nice risk reward ratio with about $4 upside and only $2 downside. So this is a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. This is more interesting. Or you want to take on here a long trade at 146, maybe as a swing trade. So it depends on your time frame you are trading. You can day trade it, you can swing trade it. I'm more in a swing trader than a day trader. Okay. What if it touches 12,100 again? It will short or limp new level in case it won't pull back to 11,100. Yeah, I wouldn't short it right away. Normally, yes, there will be a second attempt and a smaller pullback, maybe not 200 points or 300 points like today, but you could short it, yeah. For a small day trade, of course, you could short the 12,100 level again and wait for a smaller pullback for maybe 50, 60 points, whatever. But I wouldn't trade it as a swing trade here because, yeah, if we can move above, I'm still bullish, yeah. I would just take on smaller trades. You can you can play around with your account, with your position size. So take on smaller trades if you are not sure of the main direction, or if you are trading against the main direction. Like here this morning I traded against the main direction in short direction, therefore I only took small position. Or you let your losers run and cut your losses. Yeah. Yeah, the best thing is not to let your losers run, but to let your winners run and cut the losses early enough. Not too early, because then you will be stopped out every time, but to cut them early enough. Yeah, and this is just the learning phase. You will have to learn to cut your losers early enough, but not too early. So there has to be some time for learning for where to set your stop losses. Not too near, but not too far away. Did you ever trade for a fund? No, I did never trade Lily for a fund. I only traded for myself and for family members, not for other people. Russia is getting impatient, waiting for the ground to freeze. Yes, maybe they will have to do this because they are running out of money, out of people, out of munition. So yeah, it's getting more and more difficult for them. And winter is coming, so it's even getting more difficult for them. Tesla nice bear flag, yes. Yeah, I hope it will move down further with Tesla, because we talked about this yesterday or this morning, because Tesla is weaker than the market. So even if I expect the market to pull up again, I still think that Tesla won't move this strong to the upside as Nasdaq is going up. What's the safest way to get back in the trend? Today wasn't the safe to do that because of a lot of sideways trading. Yeah, we talked about this already. Just go back in the stream here. When you had the breakout here to the downside, it's safe to go in the downtrend again, because now we are leaving the sideways trading phase here. You could draw these as soon as we had these high points here, yeah, about 1, 2, 3 times. So then you can draw a line here. This is a potential resistance. And here you can clearly say, we hit it here, we hit it here, we hit it here. So this was also 3 times. You can draw a line here on the downside. And then you can be sure that on the 4th time, we probably will go below. Yeah. So here you could also say, okay, we had a breakthrough already here. This was a false breakout. We often see this, even on a 5-minute chart, but more often on a 1-minute chart. But here you see that we were still, with the parabolic SAR, we are still in an uptrend. Therefore, there was no indication of going to the short side. And there was a crossing here of ADX, okay, but this was only one first sign and was weak. You see the red line is weak, indicating weak trend. Therefore, I wouldn't take on a short trade like this here. I would have waited for a better price, like here. And you also see stochastic RSI is weak here. It's oversold. So I wouldn't sell here for a short trade. But here is a better entry. It's also oversold, of course. But you have now 2 indicators in your favor. You have parabolic SAR and you had the crossing here. So it's indicating already a short trend and it's gaining traction. You see the red line is moving up. So yeah, this is more interesting to go in a short trade here than here. But yeah, sometimes it's happened that you are caught in such a false breakout, and as soon as we close again above this support level, you have to go out of your trade immediately. Yeah, even if your stop loss isn't hit, immediately go out of your trade, because then there probably won't be this breakthrough, and you don't want to hold it through this whole sideways trading phase here. Okay. Can you also please look at Eli Lilly? You still have Eli Lilly? You already asked this, was it this morning or yesterday? Yeah, we can look at it again. I don't think that changed a lot. Yeah, there was a dividend payment yesterday. We are now, yeah, we talked about this yesterday, I think, yesterday morning. And you see we are now trading right at the support level of this uptrend here. It's not a really good drawn uptrend, but yeah, we should stay above. We already talked about this yesterday, and it's still bullish, but yeah, I wouldn't take on a trade until I see confirmation that we are moving to the upside again. But if you are still in your long trade, just manage it accordingly, according to your position size and to your portfolio size, and you are fine. Yeah, it's still higher highs and higher lows. It's still okay to be in this long trade. Thoughts on Amazon? Yeah, Amazon almost the same like Apple. Amazon, we can also look at this. There were the rumors that they will lay off about 10,000 or 11,000 people working on Alexa and so on. And yeah, this will be good news probably. We already had the green movement last week with the CPI data, but yeah, today the breakout failed like on Nasdaq, and we are just in a sideways trading phase here. So we need to close above this level here, above the $101 level. Then there can be further buyers coming in up to the 105 here, to the last high. And I would wait for this if I want to trade it on the long side, or for the news. If they really say, okay, now we are laying off stuff, then this could cause more buying pressure here, because the stock investors want Amazon to save money. And yeah, as sad as it is that people are laid off from work, it's just in the short term it's good news for the company just to save money on products they don't make money on. They are burning money, like Meta is burning on Metaverse, and Amazon is burning money on their Amazon Alexa products. Okay, greetings from the Austrian mountains. Hi, nice to see you in a live chat, Sabo. What's the reason why you choose 240 strike for the Tesla bear call? The reason is really simple. The reason was not because of the strike, it was because of Delta. I like to trade Delta 16, so I can show you here, December 16th, with the 31 days until expiry. The 240 strike was a Delta 10 when I opened it. Yeah, now market is closed. I cannot see it here. Maybe on the other. Yeah, here it's showing. You now see it's Delta 13, but it was Delta 16 when I opened it. And therefore, I like this 240 strike. It's a round level, so there will be a major open interest. You see 9,000 open contracts here, and I like the first standard deviation at the Delta 16, and therefore I sold this contract. Yeah, you see it's about $1 now, and I sold at $2.68. Okay, you got out for profit, but looking to re-enter. Okay. Did you ever have a look at Valneva stock? I'm unfortunately sitting on a huge loss. Okay, Lily, let's look at this stock last, and then we will close out the live stream for today. This is Valneva. What's the shortcut? Valneva, I don't know. Just enter it. VLA. Okay, let's have a look at this. Pharmaceutical stock. Yeah, it's trading sideways now with about the same high points here. So there's a resistance. We should break this resistance to gain more traction here, but it could potentially form something like this, yeah, like a cup and handle formation maybe. So here, forming a cup. So we are at the top levels here. And yeah, if you entered this trade early and you are still sitting on losses, then yeah, I wouldn't wait for too long. So if we break again below the 650, the last low, I would leave this trade because it's not in your favor. So now, for now, we have higher lows, not higher highs, because it's the same high like last high. We need to break above this to gain more traction, but I wouldn't stick to this trade. At a certain point, you have to cut losses. And this was here a good point to cut losses, because you see last low was here. Then we we opened with a huge gap down. We had a small close of this gap, yeah, but we couldn't hold, and we sold off further. So this was, if you had a stop loss in place here, you would have been out here at 750 right at the opening, and you would have been out of your trades, and you would have cut your losses. And you see that this would still be better than the current price level. So this is why you have to have stop loss in place. And even if you trade it just with the stop loss in your mind, you will have to set this stop loss at a certain point, because you will have to cut your losses. This is important. You cannot go green on a longer streak and on more in your trading life if you don't accept that you will have losers and that you will have to manage these losers. Yeah? That's important. So now make the trading plan. If you haven't had a trading plan on Valneva, now you should have one. Make this trading plan. If you cannot manage to make a trading plan, go out of your position, yeah, and decide from zero again. But here, what I would do is here have a stop loss in place, below the 650, so it's only 37 cents. To the downside, it's still a huge movement of 5.5%. But yeah, what does it mean? You have more chance to the upside if we see the break, but you don't want to be in this position if we see further sell-off again to the last lows with 25% more losses. So therefore, set your stop losses and have a trading plan before you enter a position. Okay. Last question. Let's say NQ doesn't pull back to 11,500 level. How shall you take new long positions or short above 12,200? Yeah, I will decide on. It depends on the movement here of Nasdaq future. I will just trade with smaller positions like I did today. I can take on decisions from day to day. I don't have to have a plan for the next month. It's just I can day trade it here, or I can trade it on 1 or 2 days or smaller time frames with small position size. So I don't have a plan now. If we don't hit 11,500, if we go above the 12,100 level, then I will just see what happens, what the news are and what the movement are showing, indicating. We will talk about this in the next live stream, so you will see and you can learn from it. So yeah, sometimes you have to accept that we don't know the future. Yeah, we just cannot know. It's just unsecure, and that's what we are paid for taking on risk, for unsecurity, because we don't know the future. No one of us has a crystal ball, and yeah, that's just it. Yeah, you have to accept this, that the future is unknown and uncertain. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. And if you rewatch the recording, then please, if you have questions, just write them down in under the stream in the comments. And please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you didn't do, then please subscribe to my channel and click the bell that you are notified for the next live stream if I go live spontaneously like this evening. So yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice evening. Until the next time, goodbye.